Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is Gamester81. This is my last video on this series, the top 100 video games of all time. This is the top 10, so definitely it's been the most hard as far as top 10 choices here. I've changed my selection. It seems like every other day I seem to change it, so I think I've nailed it down pretty good. And if you haven't seen my other videos before this, I encourage you guys to watch it. I'd love you guys' feedback. I would love to see some video responses and see you guys' top videos or top video games of all time videos as well. But let's start with number 10. This game is fairly new, and it's actually going to include the first and second one because it's basically the same game. It's going to be Rock Band. This game is a great party game. I love it. Now, don't get me wrong, Guitar Hero is a fun game, right? I like Guitar Hero. I respect Guitar Hero, but to me, it boils down to music selection and gameplay, and Rock Band, in my opinion, is far better than the Guitar Hero. You got better music choices. I mean, I just downloaded Pearl Jam album for Rock Band. You've got Beatles coming out with their own game for Rock Band. It's gonna be 45 titles for Beatles songs on it, and it's gonna come with a drum set, its own guitars. It's gonna be pretty stellar. So definitely, I mean, this by far takes a cake as far as music games go. I just bought it for the PSP, the Rock Band Unplugged. It's a pretty cool game. I'll do a review on that later, but this is by far number 10 on my list. And number 9, this is a Super Nintendo game. This is Final Fantasy 3. It was Final Fantasy 3 in the States. This is the Super Nintendo one, not the one for the DS. I'm a big fan of this game, and this is back in the early 90s. Huge time for Squaresoft, releasing some quality games. Chrono Trigger. I mean, Super Nintendo had some stellar RPG games. You got Earthbound and stuff too, which is awesome. But this is definitely number 9 on my list. It's a great game. Number 8, I used to play this game all the time with my buddies. We used to play 4-player. This is a Nintendo 64 game. Now, I used to play multiplayer on this game. See if you guys can guess it. And we used to like to do proximity mines, put them on the walls. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's 007 Goldeneye. One of the rare games that's actually based on a movie. That's actually pretty decent. Most video games that are based on movies are shit, but this one is decent. Actually, better than decent. This is an awesome game. Perfect Dark is a great game as well, but this is by far the best first-person shooter on the Nintendo 64, in my opinion. Really put together great multiplayer with split screen, 4-screen, and 2-screen. And it's just a fun game to play even today. And if it weren't for the success of Goldeneye, you wouldn't see a huge online multiplayer first person, in my opinion. So that's great. Number 7, classic Nintendo game, The Legend of Zelda. This really started off for Zelda. Music is great. Playing in the dungeons is awesome, and the maps can keep confusing at times. But I really enjoyed this game. In fact, if you like this game like I do, you guys would really like a game on the Sega Master System called Golden Axe Warrior. This is very similar gameplay. In fact, people who don't know this game will call it a clone because at first glance it plays very similar to Zelda. It's an entirely different game. Graphics are better, but it's not on my top 100 games of all time. But it is a good one. So I want to shout it out and encourage you guys to pick it up if you don't have it. It's pretty rare, but definitely Zelda is the one that you'll need to get for Nintendo if you don't have it. You got the gold card, classic Nintendo game. Let's go to number 6. Another Zelda game. This is Zelda. Well, I guess it'd be Zelda 3. This is a Link into the Past for the Super Nintendo. This is one of the first Super Nintendo games out for the Super Nintendo, and it just even today it's a great game. I just think the storyline's great. Graphics are fun. There's nothing bad to say about this game. If you're a Zelda fan like I am, you need to get this game. I'm sure if you're a Zelda fan, you probably already have it. Let's do number 5. Classic retro arcade game. This is Miss Pacman. Awesome game. I'm a big fan of Pac-Man, but Miss Pac-Man brought it to a whole nother level as far as just different screens and different levels. It progressively gets harder. It's a very difficult game. I have this on my Cocktail Arcade, and it's a fun game to play. Definitely been ported pretty much to about every platform you can imagine. I'm sure a lot of you guys have this on your phone as well. Definitely it's worthy of being in the top 5 in my opinion. Number 4, I have this game on this bad boy right here. This is Street Fighter 2. This really to me started the whole fighting frenzy as far as games go, the whole genre. There was of course Street Fighter 1, but or Fighting Street, which was ported to the TurboGrafx CD. But this is a really Street Fighter 2 is an awesome game. Pick up Street Fighter 4, and if you haven't done so already, it's a great one as well. But to me, this one really started off. Excellent fighting game. Ryu, Ken, Zangief, they're all Blanca. I mean, it's a classic game, and it's really, really nice arcade, awesome game for it. So, great game. Let's do number 3. This is probably one of the hardest games I have ever played in my life, and still is to the day. It's Donkey Kong, the arcade. I have this also on my Cocktail Arcade, and it is a tough game to play. And most people who play this game on one quarter will not get past the second stage on all 4 lives. So it's very challenging. If you ever seen the movie King of Kong, it's a great movie. I'll do a video review of it later. But you'll see what I mean as far as difficulty. This is a tough game. And what's really unfortunate about this game, it was ported to a lot of systems. Obviously, Nintendo had it. ColecoVision made this, this game made the ColecoVision popular back in the day. But, it didn't include the very fourth stage, which is what they call the Pie Factory, which is really unfortunate because that's my favorite stage. It had been years since I played the arcade. To be honest with you, I picked up my Cocktail Arcade, probably 2 years ago, and I played Donkey Kong. And the sequences of the screens are totally different as well than what I was used to playing on the ports. It's a different game, totally different game on the arcade, much more difficult than the ports. Which is really unfortunate because this is a great game. You got to pick up the arcade game for Donkey Kong. The only port I'm aware of that actually has all 4 stages in the Pie Factory is actually the Atari 8-bit computer port of Donkey Kong. But yeah, everyone else, even Nintendo, didn't come out with all 4 stages, which is a really bummer. But yeah, that's Donkey Kong. Number 2, this is a classic game. I'm a big fan of this one. This is Super Mario Brothers, the first one for Nintendo. This is really popularized the side-scrolling game. For the success of this one, you wouldn't see side-scrollers as successful as they were, in my opinion. Still a classic game. My wife and I played this game the other night, actually, and we beat it from start to finish. We didn't use any of the warps or any of the cheats. And it's a hard game. It's very difficult at some stages, but it's definitely classic. It's still fun. Replay value is great, and it's really it's just a great game. So that's number 2. Now, number 1. Most anticipated game. I'm sure you guys have been waiting for. What's number 1? I'm gonna stick with Super Nintendo here. This is Final Fantasy 2 for Super Nintendo. I grew up playing this game. My brother picked it up initially, and he and I played this all the time. This has got one of the best plot stories of any RPG, in my opinion. Great twist. Music is unbelievable. Even today, the music is unbelievable to play. And it's just great. I don't know what to say about this game because, to be honest with you, you have to play it, and I don't want to ruin the plot for you. But it's definitely number 1 in my opinion. So I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Please let me know if you guys agree or disagree. We're all entitled to our opinions. So that's a beautiful thing about this list is I don't claim to be the expert, but it's fun to kind of show off what my personal favorites are. Thanks for watching, and take care, YouTube. Bye-bye.